everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast, People Helping People. I'm Shara, your host. My guest today is Adam Brownlie. Adam is the author of Happypedia. Adam has done research and looked into what it takes for us to be happy. What does it take to choose happiness? He narrowed it down to 6 pillars, and he talks about those today. How there are things that we can do in these 6 different areas of our life to bring happiness. We talked about whether or not happiness is a choice and what does it mean to truly be happy. It was a wonderful conversation, and I thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much talking to me today. I love the concept of what you do, learning about happiness, teaching people what that is. So I have lots of questions. But why is happiness a subject that you ever became interested in studying?
A lot of reasons. Probably the main reason is I really wanted to share this philosophy that I think could make the world a much better place. And one way to sell that is through what it does for our happiness. Like, it makes happiness so much easier. And so, yeah, that's what probably started me down this path of researching what happiness is and how to achieve it.
I have a question about something that you say because I just need you to explain it to me. You say that happiness is not a choice. How is it not a choice?
Yeah, that's a great question, because so many people get trapped by the belief that it is. And it's kind of freeing when you realize that it really isn't a choice. Happiness is kind of like, I like to liken it to dilating our pupil, as in we can't choose whether our pupil dilates or not. We can
Right.
cause it to, like we can go into a bright room and then that will make it open up, or the bright room will make it close down and let less light in. Or we can go into a dark room and that'll make it open up and let more light in. So we can cause that to happen, but it's not something we can just choose, like moving our hand.
Yeah.
Can't just choose to have a feeling. We have to do something that will cause it.
Yeah.
If everybody could just choose to be happy, then like, why would anyone choose to be sad? Why would anyone be like, hey, I'm going to be sad right now? Like, we'd just be like, hey, this is bad, but what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
So when we understand that we can't choose, but we've got to cause it, then when we feel bad and we haven't chosen to do that, we can be like, righto, what's going to cause me to be happy? Just like for some reason we wanted to dial out our pupil, we'd be like, how can I do this? Well, maybe going into a different light is going to cause that. And so if we want to be happy, what's going to cause that?
Yeah. Do you think in all your studying of this, is there a difference between optimism, being optimistic, and being happy? Is that different or is that the same, do you think?
Oh, they're very, very interrelated.
Yeah.
Uh, well, someone who's optimistic is probably going to be happy more often, right?
Right.
If we say optimism is judging something as good more often, when we judge things as good, we feel good. So they're going to feel good more often.
Happiness to me, I have to choose to have and maybe it's not happiness, maybe it's a different word, but I have to choose to have a good attitude. Sometimes I've got to choose to do that, or I'm going to I'd rather be happy than miserable. I'd rather choose to have a good attitude than be grouchy and unhappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, perspective's massive.
Yeah.
And so we've got the creativity and mind control, uh, emotional control, to be able to direct our thoughts towards a, a perspective that we judge as good.
Yeah.
Then happiness becomes easier, because we can just like say, okay, what judgment's going to make me feel good? Okay, I'm going to make that judgment. But in a lot of situations, it's really hard to find that perspective that we judge as good.
Oh.
Like, some situations are just bad, however we look at it. It's just like, no, how do I look at what's happened as good, or what might happen in the future? How do I look at that as good? Uh, that's when the challenge is.
I know that you just wrote a book, Happypedia.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you talk about the 6 pillars of happiness in that. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, so when I was researching happiness, uh, to make it something I could research, I was like, we need to know what causes us to be happy, and that's these hormones, serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin.
Mhm.
And so then I just started researching what gives us those three hormones. And after reading hundreds of papers, it became clear that these things that give us these hormones generally fit into these six groups. There's some things that fit outside of them, but generally
Yeah.
they're related to eating well, sleeping well, socializing well, exercising well, finding novelty, and hope. So, yeah, they're the six pillars. So if we are feeling down and we want to do something to cause ourselves to be happy, we'd probably need to work on one of those. That's the action we could take to cause ourselves to be.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense because, you feel great when you have a great night's sleep. So important for you when you're exercising. I hate exercising, but I always feel better after I do it. So it makes sense. Taking care of yourself obviously is going to make you feel better, be happy. Another thing that you talk about a lot is forgiveness. Why is that so important?
Well, that comes down to that perspective that we are talking
Mm.
about before. Uh, when we can't find a perspective that what has happened is good, then forgiveness is pretty much the only solution. So, yeah, if you're lucky enough to be able to look at some situation that you did judge as bad and now judge it as good, then you're away. But if you can't, then forgiveness is the next best option. You can say, look, I forgive myself for that, or I forgive this person for that. Because so much of our suffering is so often caused by someone else who did something that we judge as bad, something that offended us or hurt us or took something away from us. If we can forgive them for that, then it just takes that burden off our shoulders. And these six pillars become easier to do. Like, it's so much easier to go for that run that we don't want to do. If we already don't want to go for that run and we're stressed, then we really don't want to go for that run.
Right.
It just sets us on this spiral upwards. We can just do that stress.
Stress is not fun. It's not good for you. I know that your childhood played a big role in I don't know if it started you on the road of studying about happiness, but can you tell me about your childhood? I knew you grew up on a farm.
Yeah, yeah, I was pretty lucky. I had you could say, ideal childhood and very, very little stress. Uh, yeah, I remember, like, to show how little stress I had, something that really caused me a lot of stress. I hope my brother doesn't mind me saying this, but I remember I was just thinking about this week. I remember when he went away to boarding school. He went and spent his weekly allowance in this gaming arcade, and he was apparently trying to win some prizes for his brothers.
Aw.
Uh, and I was so stressed. I was like, "Oh no, that's so terrible that Simon's like wasted all his money." Um, yeah, I felt so stressed about that, like, for a long time. But, like, when you reflect on that, you're like, if that was the most challenging thing in your
Right.
it was pretty cruisy. Uh, yeah, so many people have so much stress when they're a child,
Mm.
and that's when our brain is most, susceptible to stress. Like,
Yeah.
stress sets us up to experience more stress. Like, it sets us up to see things to worry about. It changes the structure of our brain
Yeah.
we are less optimistic. And so if we're lucky enough to have a childhood where we have very little stress, it sets us up to be more optimistic when we grow up.
Yeah. I read it that you had gotten sick as a child, that was a big, influence in your life. What happened with that?
Yeah, well, there's another stress that I had. Yeah, so that was when I I just finished reading this book about, I can't remember the name of the book now, but it's about this Japanese girl who got diagnosed with leukemia.
Mm.
And, there's a story about her making these 1,000 cranes. It was meant to bring her good luck or something like that. but she ended up dying of leukemia.
Oh, gosh.
And that wasn't so stressful for me, but it was shortly after finishing that book that um, I got taken to the doctor and was there with mum, and the doctor said, "Oh, you've got pneumonia." And I just heard that as leukemia. I was like, and I
Oh,
just
my
read
gosh.
about this girl dying of leukemia. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Uh, and so I was just sitting in that doctor's room, traumatized, and I don't think I realized. Well, it wasn't until we were like driving home that mum was like, "Oh no, it's nothing. You just take these medication and you'll be fine. It's not leukemia." And I was like, but yeah, just those moments between when I got told I had pneumonia until mum said it's all fine.
Right.
Uh, yeah, it changed. Like, yeah, it really traumatized me. Like, I couldn't watch the news after that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, like before that, dad used to watch the news every night, and I'd quite often just watch it with him. But then after this event, I was just like, I just couldn't watch it anymore. It was just so bad. It
Oh,
was really stressing me. Like I'd lost that optimism, you could say. I'd become easily stressed.
that's hard for a child, for a misunderstanding like that. I can imagine that would be scary. What are some things that has surprised you as you've studied about happiness?
Yeah, someone asked me this yesterday, and after thinking about it a little bit, I think it was novelty. So one of the pillars of happiness
Mhm.
is novelty. And when I first came across it, I was like, well, yeah, I might just put that one to the side. But then it just kept on coming up and coming up. It's so important to have new experiences. Like we want to learn. Like our body's built to look for opportunities to learn. And learning is basically novel experiences. So when we have something novel, we like it. And if we don't have it, we get stressed.
Yeah.
Uh, just if we miss out on the other five pillars, we get stressed. So yeah, that was probably one of the most surprising things that I found.
Yeah. We should always be wanting to learn.
So much of what is in the book is like, yeah, of course. Uh,
Right. Makes sense.
like a lot of the time when you research this, like you don't like someone would ask you this, like, what
Yeah.
the main ingredients to happiness, and you're like, I don't know. But as soon as you get told, you're like, well, yeah.
That makes sense.
But you need to know this stuff if you want to improve. So even though it's so obvious, uh, it doesn't matter if it's obvious or not. If you don't know, then if you feel unhappy, you're not going to know what to do
Yeah.
to turn the situation around. So, obvious or not, it's important to know this
Sure.
stuff. Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that being optimistic is not something that comes natural for them? Maybe they feel stuck or their life is not going the way they thought it would. How could you encourage somebody to begin to change their perspective like we talked about?
So the main thing that I hope people take away from this book is uh, knowing how to forgive themselves and others, and having a good reason to forgive themselves and others. Uh, and quite often, what makes it hard to forgive ourselves and other people is this belief that we could have done something different,
Yeah.
that what we did wasn't unavoidable, it wasn't caused. Uh, but once we realized that what we did or what they did was completely unavoidable, they were 100% made to do what they did, and we were 100% caused to do what we did. Once we know that, we know all the reasons why that is true, uh, then forgiveness becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling stuck in this uh, loss of like lack of optimism, feeling stuck in this stress, then I'd say find out what's causing you to do or what caused you to do what you did and what caused them to do what they did. Whatever this situation is that you're like regretting or worried about, find out what caused it, and then you'll know that it was unavoidable. Like they were made to do that.
Forgiveness it's a big deal. It sure changes things when we're able to, forgive. And really, forgiveness is not letting somebody off the hook, but it's
Yeah.
taking the stress off of yourself from whatever happened. You know what I mean? Is there any other thing besides forgiveness? Is what can somebody do if they need to follow this happiness train?
Yeah. Well, it'd be about choosing the pillar that's going to help you. So we need to look at the 6 pillars and say, which one am I lacking in my life right now?
Yeah.
And try to build that pillar. Uh, it's so tempting to do more of what we're already doing.
Right.
Like if we're already like some people just love to exercise, like they're the opposite of you.
Right.
They just about morning you go for a run, like in the evening they go for a walk. They'll try and fit in a yoga class in the middle of the day. So when these people are stressed, quite often what they do is try to do even more exercise.
Right.
Go for a longer run, go for more runs. But what they're really lacking is like a good sense of connection with their friends or
Yeah.
something. And so what they really should be doing is cutting back on that exercise and finding opportunities to build a sense of connection with their friends, build that relationship stronger.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not sleeping enough. Like maybe they're only getting like 4 hours sleep because they're running so late at night.
Right.
They could get that 8 to 9 hours of sleep, then that might be what they need.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so we really need to look at what our limiting factor is.
Yeah.
The analogy that I love to use, I probably use it too much, is growing a crop of cotton. So if you're growing a crop of cotton, you need to give it water, you need to give it fertilizer, and you need to keep the weeds under control. If it's already quite moist and you're wanting to improve, like make it grow better, you're not going to put more water on it.
Right.
Like, you're going to look at these other things that it might need. It's the same with our health, our body, our happiness. Like there's
Right.
point giving more of what we've already got heaps of.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I didn't know this when I set out to write the book. Like all this came up with my research, but yeah, I can see why I find happiness easy. So when I moved to Brisbane, so I just moved to Brisbane like 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Before that, I used to live out in the country. And when I moved here, I wondered, I was like, why is everyone here so stressed? It just seems like people are so sensitive and so they're worried about achieving their goals and like, whether they're doing enough or uh and I think this is what, like, besides having a good foundational belief to make forgiveness easier, also just doing these 6 pillars, like I sleep, like I really try hard to get my 8 hours sleep every night. Uh I only eat whole foods. Like I used to eat more junk food, but since reading this book, now it's just whole foods. Like exercise at least 20 minutes, probably an hour every day. Uh, so yeah, this is what I do to be happy. Try
So
to
you're
explain.
you're living it out. You're living out the book. That's good. Since you wrote it. Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to tell me about? And I wish people would do more of what you're talking about in the book because those things do make you happy.
Well, I guess you just touched on one thing is like, what would make us do more of this? So like hearing this, like just say someone was listening to this podcast and they're like, yeah, you're right. I probably just need to exercise more. But I probably just need to clean up my diet, like stop eating so
Right.
much junk food. Uh, but they already knew that and probably nothing's going to change. So what do we need to do to cause this?
Yeah.
And we pretty much only do what we think we're going to get a like a benefit that we think's worthwhile out of it.
Mm.
Like some people, they say they want to go to the gym, and you're like, well, why do you want to go to the gym? And they're just like, well, it's good for you. Like everyone knows you should go to the gym. Yeah, but what's in it for you? How's it going to help you achieve what you want? And they're like, um, I don't know. So you've got to know how these things are going to help you achieve something that you already want. Because if you don't, you're just not going to judge it as like, there's no tricking our body. Like if it's not
Right.
worthwhile for our body's not going to put effort into going and doing it.
That is
So
absolutely true.
if you want to force yourself to do these things, to work on these 6 pillars, you've got to learn how it's going to help you achieve what you already want.
Yeah.
So think about something that you really want and then learn, like go and do some research, talk to people, find out how doing this is going to help you achieve that goal. And when you know that, then it'll become easy.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Is your book available on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I post the podcast, I'll have your website and I'll have the link for your book so people can find it if they want to find it. I appreciate you talking to me today. This has been very cool.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right. See
Thanks.
you later. Bye bye.
Bye.